A river grading is basically the balance, or you can say it is the equilibrium between the rate of erosion and the rate of deposition in a river. Okay, so basically, when we talk about a rate of something, we are referring to how fast something happens or how fast something occurs. So basically, when we want to check river grading, we want to try and establish what is the relationship between the rate of erosion and the rate of deposition. How fast does erosion happen and how fast does deposition happen within a river, right? But now, in the first place, you would ask yourself, Uti, how do we even know, or how can we even measure the equilibrium between the rate of erosion and the rate of deposition? How do we even see that there is a balance of erosion and deposition? Okay, so basically, a river can have two profiles. A river has got two possible profiles that it can have. So the first one we say is known as a graded river profile, and then the second one is known as an ungraded river profile. Remember, guys, we already talked about the river profile. We said that we've got two types of river views, or you can say river profiles. We have got a longitudinal profile, or you can say it is you can say the longitudinal profile of a river. Okay, and you also have got a transverse profile. But now, when we are looking at the graded river profile, we'll just be looking at the longitudinal profile of a river. How does the river look like if it is graded? How does it look like if it is ungraded? Okay, so now when we say that we've got a graded river profile, it simply means that this is a river, the longitudinal profile of this river. It is a smooth concave, steep at the top and gentle at the bottom. So it is smooth and concave. Remember, guys, concave is a shape that looks like this. This is concave. This is a concave shape. And then when we are talking about a convex shape, we are talking about a shape like this, something like this. Okay, so I think you did this in grade 11, but basically we've got a concave slope and we also have got a convex slope. So when we are referring to a graded river profile, or a river profile which has got a balance of erosion and deposition, it has got a smooth concave slope. It is steep at the top, so it is steep at the top, and then it is gentle at the bottom. So when we view that profile, it looks like this. So it is a smooth profile. It is steep at the top. If we just try to trace it, you guys can see that on top here, it is steep, right? You can see that the gradient here on the top, it is steep. Remember, guys, when I introduced the river profile, I mentioned that the top part of the river, which is the upper course of the river, it has got a very steep gradient, but that gradient, it gradually decreases. That is why the gradient at the middle course, it is way gentle compared to the gradient at the upper course. So in a graded river profile, the top part or the upper course, it is a very steep. It has got a very steep slope. And then the middle course, the slope starts to decrease. Now when we get to the middle course, the slope now will start to decrease. So it means that it will not be that steep. It will now start to become gentle. So you can see that at your middle course, your slope is becoming gentle. And then at the lower course, your slope is kind of more like a flat slope. It's more like it is very, 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 very gentle. So this is known as a smooth concave profile. So this is a graded river profile. So in this graded river profile, what actually makes it to look like this? What makes it to have a steep upper course, a gradual middle course, and a gentle lower course is that there is an equilibrium. So we say that it's a graded river because the rate of erosion, so we can just say the rate of erosion in this river is equal to the rate of deposition. All right, so the rate of erosion is equal to the rate of deposition. So the rate at which the materials are being dug from the ground, it is equal to the rate at which the materials are being dumped into the river's course. Because you guys already know the difference between erosion and deposition. So the rate at which the materials are being eroded, the rate at which the stones or the soil is being removed, okay, it is going to be equal to the rate at which those eroded materials are being deposited. That actually creates a smooth concave profile. And we say that is a graded river profile. So whenever we say that there's a graded river profile, how do we see that there's a graded river profile? We will see with what? We will see with the smooth concave. Because if they say give one observable reason or give one evidence that this is a graded river profile, you are going to say that this has got a smooth concave because it is what you can see. It is steep at the top, which is at the upper course, and then the moment you move to the middle course, it becomes gentler, and then at the lower course, it is very gentle, or it is even closely flat, relatively flat. So it's a graded river profile. And then now you'll be asking yourself, when we now say it is an ungraded river profile, how does it actually look like and how does it deviate from this? Okay. So if we say that the longitudinal profile of a river is ungraded, it simply means that this profile has got nick points like waterfalls as well as rapids that actually cause it not to be so much smooth. So basically an ungraded river profile, you were going to see it in this way. It is not going to be a smooth concave slope like the graded one, because the graded one is the one that I showed you at first here. It has got a steeper upper course, and then the lower course, the middle course becomes a bit gentler, and then the lower course becomes very gentle. This is the graded river profile. It is smooth concave. But when it is an ungraded river profile, we are going to see some obstructions or some distractions in the course of the river. Okay, we are not going to just see a smooth shape. Rather, it is going to have nick points in it. When we are talking about a nick point, there is just a sharp change in gradient. Okay, for example, if we look carefully at this particular river, you can see that the water is flowing. So the water is flowing from the source here. So this is more like the upper course, right? It is flowing from the source and it is flowing down, it is flowing down, it is flowing down. And then when it gets to this point here that is labeled as a nick point, there is a very sharp change in gradient. Okay, there is a very sharp change in gradient, or the direction of the river changes rapidly. Okay, because you can see that the river was flowing down in a gradual manner in this way. But then all of a sudden, you find that here there's a nick point here. So this nick point, or this a sharp change in gradient here that we're having, it is known as a nick point. It is the one that actually causes the water to fall. That is why we end up having a waterfall. So now once we start having such landforms, such as nick points and waterfalls, this actually is now no longer a what? Is no longer a graded profile. It is now an ungraded profile, because now the water will be falling rapidly here. The water will be falling rapidly. The water will be falling rapidly and rapidly and rapidly. Okay. It is not like in the first case. The first case, or in the graded river profile, the water was flowing smoothly along this smooth path. Okay. The water could flow from the upper course and flow down to the middle course and then flow to the lower course. Right. It's just a smooth flow. But now when we look at an ungraded river profile, as the water is flowing down, it encounters a sharp change in gradient. Okay, it simply means that now the river valley now becomes it just changes rapidly, such that the water will fall here turbulently. So the water will actually fall turbulently. The water will be falling and falling. So that creates a what? A waterfall. So once we start having waterfalls as part of our river's course, we now say that is an ungraded river profile. And then now that waterfall, obviously after the waterfalls here, it will now go down and go down and go down until it reaches the mouth. But basically you guys can see the clear differences here, that in a graded river profile, we've got a smooth concave. It is a smooth concave. It is steep at the top, gently at the bottom. But now in an ungraded river profile, we are having some nick points like waterfalls and rapids. Basically means that there's a sharp change in gradient. Now the water will have to fall down here for it to continue flowing. It has to fall down so that it can continue flowing. Do we kind of get the sense of what a river profile, a graded and an ungraded river profile is? Can we all be able to differentiate, great selves?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now knowing these river profiles, An ungraded river profile, it always undergoes processes so that it can end up becoming graded. All right. But before you even get there, we need to understand the base level of erosion, first of all. Okay. So the waterfalls in an ungraded river profile, all the things such as waterfalls, all the things such as rapids and nick points, all of those or all of those obstructions, they are known as a temporary base level of erosion. So when we go to an ungraded river profile and we see things such as waterfalls, we see rapids or we see nick points. Because remember, guys, a nick point is simply a sharp change in gradient. As the river is falling here, you just find a sharp change in gradient, something like this. This is a nick point. This is a nick point. So now when the river is going to flow down through this course, at some point, it will experience this sharp change in gradient such that the water will have to fall. So you are now having a nick point and the waterfall at that nick point. All right. So basically, those are known as the temporary base level of erosion. Why do we even call them the temporary base level of erosion? Because they can be eroded away, guys. They can be eroded away. You know, a waterfall does not always last for long. It can retreat. When I taught you about headward erosion, please revisit that session again. I recorded it as a video and is still present. When I talked about headward erosion, I told you that basically when water is falling at a nick point, when we're having a waterfall at a nick point, the waterfall actually migrates upstream via headward erosion or backward erosion. Why is that? It's because the waterfall can be eroded. It is a temporary base level of erosion. So it means that those things such as waterfalls, they don't last for long. So if it happens that there's a lot of rain, this waterfall will end up disappearing in such a way that you will end up having what? You will end up having a smooth profile or you will end up having a graded profile. Okay, you'll end up having a graded profile. So basically, you guys should understand that an ungraded river profile can change to become a graded river profile. So an ungraded river profile, the one that has got obstructions, the one that has got nick points, the one that has got waterfalls, that is an ungraded river profile. It can be able to change back to becoming a smooth one. Means that all of these obstructions, they are being eroded because basically such obstructions, they're a temporary base level of erosion. So if there is enough water, a waterfall can easily be eroded and then your river will end up becoming smooth. So basically a river can change from being an ungraded river profile to a graded river profile. How does that happen? That is what we are going to look at. How does an ungraded river profile change to become a graded river profile? All right. So basically, let's just define temporary base level of erosion in the first place. Temporary base level of erosion are just the features that delay erosion, causing the river profile to be ungraded. So it is otherwise known as the local base level of erosion. So you can say it's the temporary base level of erosion, or you can say it's the local base level of erosion. It is are those things that are causing our river profile to not be so much smooth, because it must be a smooth path a river flows. But if the path is not smooth, if we look at the longitudinal profile and we see that the path is not smooth, like the one that we are having here, it is not a smooth path because the river will experience a lot of turbulence the moment it is falling down here at the nick point. It experiences a lot of turbulence because it is not a smooth profile. It's not like in a graded profile where the river just flows in a reasonable manner. Okay, so those things, those temporary base level of erosion, or those things such as nick points, waterfalls, and rapids, all of them, they are temporary. You can be able to erode them away if you've got enough water, or if the river has got enough erosive power. If the river has got enough erosive power, it is able to erode all the temporary base level of erosion. Okay, so basically the temporary base level of erosion can be eroded if the river has got enough power, such that your profile will now change from being an ungraded river profile to being a graded river profile. That simply means, in simple terms, we are trying to say that these things such as nick points and rapids, all of those local base level of erosion, they're going to just be washed away by the water or by the river itself, such that you will end up having a smooth river profile, such that it's just going to be a smooth concave profile, and then the river will just flow in a smooth path. But now we also have got a permanent or the ultimate base level of erosion. So now the lowest level a river can erode, it is the sea. So basically the lowest level to which a river can erode, which is the sea, it is known as the permanent base level of erosion. You know, the river has got power to be able to remove waterfalls. As I said, Uzi, the waterfalls can easily be washed away by the power of the river. Okay, the waterfalls, the rapids, the nick points, they can easily be washed away by the power of the river such that the profile will become smooth. But the river has got limits. It cannot be able to erode the sea because remember the sea, guys, or the ocean, it is just a world of water, that thing. So remember that the river's mouth, it is actually pouring into the sea, right? So the sea has got a lot of water. The river cannot be able to erode through the sea. Okay, so the river will just pour in the water into the sea, but it cannot be able to erode through the sea. So we say that this is the lowest level to which a river can erode. Okay, so the river's water is not able to alter anything on the sea, it's not able to change anything in the sea. That is why we say it is a permanent or it is an ultimate base level of erosion. But as for the nick points, as for the waterfalls and everything else that can be an obstruction in the river's path or in the river's profile, the river can be able to erode it, provided that it has got enough erosive power. It has got enough water. Do we get the sense, Gretovs?
Yeah.
Okay. So now, with that in mind, we can try to see what processes actually cause the river profile to move from being an ungraded river profile to being a graded river profile. In fact, what actually causes river grading? Because the whole process of changing from an ungraded river profile to being a graded river profile, it simply means that there is a river grading that is happening there. So we are doing some river grading. So we are grading the river so that it ends up having a smooth concave profile. But now what processes are responsible for that? You might not, we haven't gotten to the processes yet, but you already have an idea in your mind. For this river profile to be smooth, we simply need to erode these things such as nick points and waterfalls. So we're just going to look at how that happens specifically. So let's just look at how does a profile move from being an ungraded to being a graded river profile. In fact, we are just going to look at the process of river grading. There are many processes that take place, guys. There are many processes. Here, I'm just going to list all of them here. There are many processes, but you need to study all of them. Study all of them, understand all of them, but only memorize for the sake of paragraph questions. But you need to study all of them in case one of them comes out in the exam and you need to understand what's happening there. All right. So you need to mention first that if you are having an ungraded profile, let me just go for you an ungraded river profile one more time. An ungraded river profile, it has got some nick points. Okay, it has got sharp change in gradient. It has got obstructions. Let me just say here we've got some rapids. And then here we've got a nick point. And then the river continues until we get into the sea. Okay, let me just say this is my river profile. I don't know if this is that visible, but I'll try my best to draw it. Okay, so this is the sea. So this is the sea, or the permanent base level of erosion. This is the sea, where the river is offloading its waters. So this is the sea. All right. So what's happening here? This is an ungraded river profile, Gretovs. You guys can already see that this river profile has got obstructions. It has got an obstruction here. This doesn't look so smooth. it has got a nick point here. This does not also look so smooth. So this is an ungraded river profile. So let me just say that these obstructions here, we call them rapids. Okay, we are still going to do fluvial landforms properly, but basically, let's just say these are rapids. So these are known as rapids. And then here, obviously, we're going to have a nick point. And then at the nick point, we know that a waterfall will develop there. At the shape changing gradient, we're going to develop a waterfall. So now, how do we actually erode a waterfall? That's the first thing that I'm going to do. How can we erode a waterfall? Because if we zoom in here at the waterfalls, I'm sure we say that here at the waterfall, the water actually falls because of this sharp change in gradient. So as the water is flowing here, the moment it encounters this gradient, it falls rapidly down, or it falls violently down. So now we are just zooming it in this image. So we're going to zoom it in. Let me just show you. We're going to just zoom it in. Here it is. So you guys can see the zoomed in image of how does that happen. This is a waterfall. Like if you are just looking at a closer outlook, this is the waterfall that we are talking about. So the waterfall, as I explained when I explained the headward erosion, I told you guys that a waterfall has got hard rock here. So we've got hard rock on top and we have got soft rock at the bottom. So the hard rock is being supported by the soft rock. When we say it is hard rock, it means that it is hard to erode. It is not easily eroded. So the water does not easily cut through this rock. It cannot be able to just, it cannot be able to erode this rock. It cannot be able to even cut a piece from this rock because it is hard rock. It is more resistant. Usually it is igneous rock. Underneath the hard rock, we have got some soft rock here. The soft rock, it is easily eroded. The soft rock, it is easily eroded. So now, due to this sharp change in gradient, you guys can see that the water here, it is flowing rapidly, or it is flowing downward. Okay, it is flowing downward because now the gradient was gradual, but all of a sudden it has to fall downward. So here, this is a waterfall here. So now having a waterfall, what processes actually happen? We're going to start with point number 1. The downward or the vertical erosion dominates in the upper course, causing a steep valley slope. That is the first thing that we're going to talk about. I already explained to you guys the river profile. I already made sessions based on the river profile. So you are aware that this is happening at the upper course. And at the upper course, we have got vertical erosion, or we have got downward erosion that is dominating. Remember, the downward erosion, it actually causes the valleys to be steep and deep. They cause the valleys to become steeper and to become deeper. In fact, the valleys, the shape of the valleys in the upper course, they are V-shaped. They've got a V shape. So now here at this particular case, there is a lot of vertical erosion happening at the upper course that actually causes a steep valley slope. And then now headward erosion will remove the temporary base levels of erosion in the upper course. That's one other point. Headward erosion. For example, the waterfall can easily be removed by headward erosion. How does that happen? Okay, let's look at this image carefully. So let's look here carefully what will happen here. So here, as the water, it is flowing here and it is falling here, as we are having this waterfall going on here. What actually happens? This softer rock will be eroded. The softer rock will be eroded, right? So it means that a piece of the softer rock will be cut off. So the softer rock is being eroded. Or we can say that the softer rock has been eroded. So once the softer rock has been eroded, the hard rock that is on top here, the hard cap rock here that is on top, it is left alone. It is left unsupported. So what's happening here? As the water is falling, let me just replay the animation. As the water is falling in this waterfall, okay, the softer rock is being washed away. Grade 12 is being washed away. So the softer rock is now gone. It is now washed away by the water. It has now been eroded because very soft rock is easy to erode, but the hard rock is not easy to just break and erode because it is more resistant. So now the softer rock has been eroded such that the hard rock is left unsupported. Because if you look at here, as I already explained to you, that the softer rock is the one that is supporting the hard rock. Now look at this. The hard rock is here. The hard rock, it's especially at this point here. I don't know if you guys can see my hard rock here. Okay, the hard rock at this point here, it is not supported because there is no soft rock underneath it. So it is no longer having a support at all, no longer having a support system. It's like a head with no body. Okay, it's a head with no body, because remember that your body is supporting your head, right? So it's a similar approach. So now when the softer rock has been eroded, we now have this hard rock. It is left unsupported. And when it is left unsupported, what will happen? It will end up breaking apart due to this water, because this water keeps on being heavy on it and it cannot be able to carry that weight of water. It is the one that will break this hard rock and break it and break it. And if you can really analyze carefully, you will only notice that your waterfall was here. Let me just fix this. Okay, it's fine. Your waterfall was here. Your waterfall was here, like the water was falling at this point. But if it happens that that rock breaks apart, it means that now your water will be falling down at this point here. Do you guys all see where the water will now be falling down here, indicated by green arrows? Let's just say now the hard rock has broken down. It has broken down because it is left unsupported. Do you guys see that now the water will start falling here at this point? Do you guys all see that? Yes. So now the water will now be falling at this point. So in other words, your waterfall has shifted. Your waterfall has shifted because your water was falling there. So your water was falling very far away here around this point. So your water was falling far away. But now the waterfall has shifted. Okay, the waterfall is shifted. So that is how a waterfall retreats, or that is how a waterfall shifts, because at first the water was falling here, but now it has shifted. It is shifted and shifted and shifted. Okay, what caused it to shift? It is known as backward erosion. Please, guys, watch my session again. I made it a video based on headward erosion. That is what will help you understand. So basically, headward erosion, it removes the temporary base level of erosion in the upper course. So it removes all the nick points. It removes all the rapids. It removes everything. It's able to just erode all of those features away. And then also vertical erosion. The vertical erosion can also remove the temporary base level of erosion as well. We are not going to do any diagrams based on this, but you guys should also know that vertical erosion is able to also remove the temporary base levels of erosion as well. And then now, when this material, where does it actually go? Because we are saying that this rock will break down and then it will, where does it go? Because this rock is being washed away. The softer rock has been washed away. Where is it going? It actually is transported downstream. So the river will continue carrying the eroded material, the eroded soil. It will continue carrying it downstream because it is going towards the sea, right? It is going towards the sea. So it will continue carrying that eroded material downstream. That is one of the process. And we say that is known as transportation. Because remember, guys, I told you of 3 fluvial processes. I told you of 3 fluvial processes. It is erosion, deposition, and transportation. So one of those processes is transportation, whereby the material that has been eroded is transported in the course of the river. So similarly here, the waterfall has been eroded. The softer rock on the waterfall and the hard rock has been broken apart and eroded. Now it will be carried downstream. It will be carried by the river towards the sea. As long as the river has got enough carrying capacity, as long as the river has got enough power or energy to carry this eroded material.
Hey Lapo, I know that you've been enjoying this wonderful video and most likely you've been enjoying watching this handsome face in front of you, but sorry ladies, I'm taken. I just here to tell you that Educate is on the road to 100,000 subscribers by the end of 2025. So please click the subscribe button and click the notification bell so that you get notifications whenever I post new videos. I want you guys to pass. Okay, so if you make my dream true, I reach 100k subscribers, I will make your dreams come true. I will even get you to varsity. I will get you with 7 distinctions. Yes.
So one of the things that happens, the discharge of the river increases in the middle course, causing lateral erosion to increase as well. So at the middle course, as we explained in the river profile, at the middle course, the discharge of the river increases because remember that there are more tributaries that are joining there. Okay, so there are more tributaries that are joining. So basically there's an increased volume of water there. Or you can say that there's an increase in the discharge of the river at the middle course that causes lateral erosion. So it kind of causes the river to become wider and wider and wider. And then, of course, that will eventually make the gradient at the middle course to be less steep. Because remember, guys, for a graded profile, what do we want? We want an upper course that is very steep, and then we want a middle course that is less steep. Now we are just explaining what processes are causing that to happen. If we have got an ungraded profile, such as this one that has got nick points and rapids and waterfalls, what actually causes it to change to being a smooth concave profile? So you must just explain what causes the upper course to be steeper, what causes the lower course to be gentle, what causes the middle course to be less steep than the upper course, all of those things. Okay. You now go, we are done with the upper course and the middle course. We already explained that we're having headward erosion that is dominating at the upper course, and it is eroding the waterfalls and all the temporary base level of erosion. We also have got deposition that is now happening at the lower course. So at the lower course of the river here, at the lower course of the river, we have got deposition dominating because the gradient at the lower course is gentle. So there is an increased deposition at the lower course of the river because the gradient is gentle. Remember, guys, when the gradient is gentle, it simply means that the water cannot flow fast that much. Remember, if the gradient is steep, the water has got very big velocity because it has to fall over, it has to flow over a steeper area. That is why it has got a what? It has got a bigger velocity. And it has got a bigger carrying capacity. It has got more erosive power or more energy to wash away materials from the ground, all right, or to remove material from the soil, okay? But now, when the gradient now changes to become gentle, okay, now when we go to the lower course towards the sea, the gradient now becomes very gentle. Now deposition will now dominate due to this gentle gradient. And then now, those deposited materials, they will fill up the lakes and the dams. That's one of the things as well. So basically the deposits or the deposited material, they will fill up the lakes and the dams. Okay? So the river profile will now develop a concave shape from upper to lower course. And then now we can say that equilibrium has been obtained from also so that we ended up having this graded river profile. So basically when a river profile is changing from being ungraded to being graded, it simply goes through the normal processes that happens at these causes. Because since I already explained to you guys this in the river profile, what happens at the upper course, what happens at the middle course, what happens at the lower course. I've already explained this in the river profile. So we're just rewriting these processes again to say, if it happens that your river profile is no longer graded, it now means that your river profile is now having some temporary base level of erosion, such as waterfalls, nick points, and rapids. All of those can easily be eroded away. You just need to talk about the processes that are associated with this. Talk about vertical erosion at the upper course. talk about headward erosion at the upper course, talk about lateral erosion at the middle course, talk about deposition at the lower course. You are done. You just need to talk about those things. You're just explaining the elements of the river itself, of the river profile, the longitudinal profile, from upper course until lower course. When a river is just moving, when a river profile is just moving from being ungraded to being a graded river profile, it just needs to go through these processes. Explain, whenever you're explaining, what are you trying to explain here? You are trying to explain what causes the upper slope to be steep. What causes the upper slope to be steep? What processes happen at the upper slope? And then you explain what processes happen at the middle, in the middle course as well. You also explain the processes at the lower course. At the upper course, you just need to mention downward erosion as well as headward erosion, those two. But we know that the most dominant erosion type, it is the vertical erosion. It is the one that dominates at the upper course. But we also have headward erosion. So once you just explain why we have a steeper slope at the upper course, and explain why we've got a gentle slope at the middle course, and why we have got a very, 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 very gentle slope at the lower course, then you are done explaining river grading. That is how you make your river to be smooth, or to have a smooth concave profile. So these are some of the points that you guys can work around. Are we together, Kratos?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's that, guys. About river grading, nothing else. You guys need to just do questions. Look at this one. Refer to the sketch below on river grading. Refer to the sketch below on river grading. So let's just refer to it and try to answer the questions that follow. Now, 2.4.1. Does the sketch above represent a graded or an ungraded river? Does the sketch above represent a graded or an ungraded? Yes, Vuvu?
Ungraded.
Yes, it is ungraded. And then what is the reason for that?
Because of the nick point.
Yes, because there is a nick point. Or you can say that because there is a temporary base level of erosion. Because you can see that here, this has got a sharp change in gradient, where it is written lake here. There is a lake and there is a sharp change in gradient. Now, identify one example of a temporary base level of erosion. Identify one example. We want one example of a temporary base level of erosion.
Nick point.
Well, example. Well, here, yeah, it is there. We can see the nick point. I think we can definitely say, yeah, a nick point, it is there. Who else can see anything else? Yes, Tandaz.
The lake, sir.
Yes, we are seeing a lake there. So by the nick point, we've got a lake. Just before this a sharp change in gradient here, we have got a lake. Remember, a lake, guys, is just water that is not moving or water that is not flowing. So it's just water that is still at a certain place. It is just water that is staying at a certain place. It's not moving. So that is a lake. So a lake is an example of a temporary base level, because a lake can be washed away. You know, sometimes there are some lakes which used to exist, let's just say maybe in the 1990s, but now they don't exist anymore because they've been washed away by the river. All right. So the lakes, the rapids, or anything else that can develop along the course of the river, or anything else, any other landform that can develop in the course of a river, making it to be unsmooth, any of those can easily be eroded. They are temporary base level of erosion. Okay. So are we all getting this, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we have got there a nick point. We have got a lake. All of these cause the river to be uneven. Now distinguish between temporary base level and permanent base level. Distinguish between permanent base level and temporary base level. So we're gonna start with permanent base level. What is permanent base level? Yes, Hlelo.
Sir.
Sorry, sir, for networking on. So permanent base level, the lowest level to which a river can erode usually
Yes.
the sea.
Yes, so we say that the permanent base level, it is the lowest level. So this is the lowest level to which a river can erode. Usually we say, it is the sea alone. Usually the sea is the permanent base level, but I'm just going to write it as an example. But it is the lowest level to which a river can erode. Lowest level. Remember, this one is permanent. It's not temporary. So it cannot be washed away. Okay. Let's go. What about temporary?
So my features that can delay erosion causing a river profile to be ungraded.
Yes, you can say those are landforms, or you can say they are features that can delay erosion. So when they delay erosion, they actually cause the river profile to be uneven. Okay. So they cause the river profile. There we go. So the temporary base level, the landforms that can delay erosion, they cause the river profile to be uneven. But the permanent one, it is the lowest level to which a river can erode. For example, the sea. That's the perfect example. But realistically, I already told you, the temporary base level of erosion, when the river has got enough power, it can easily wash it away and make a smooth profile. But if the river does not have enough power, it cannot. So just to explain this thing of the permanent base level again, do you see this this image here? In this image, they indicated that this is an ungraded river profile, right? But they've indicated dotted lines here, dotted lines showing how it would look like if it was smooth or if it was graded. So it would look like this. And you see that these lines, these dotted lines, they do not pass the sea, because the sea is more like the lowest level. The lowest, this is a permanent base level. It is the lowest level to which a river can erode. So a river can erode all of the lakes and stuff like that. It can erode it such that will end up having a smooth concave profile that will be passing through these areas that I'm highlighting here with yellow here. So this is how the river will actually look like, or this is how the river will actually pass after eroding the lakes and stuff like that. It will not have any more nick points, all right? But it cannot be able to erode below the sea, because the sea is like full of a lot of water there. So that's another way of trying to see what a permanent base level of erosion is. Your river can erode, yes, but it cannot erode lower than this level. The permanent base level of erosion is the sea. Simply means that the river can only erode until this line here. Okay? It cannot erode below this line, because it will be like eroding the sea. And the river cannot erode the sea. Like realistically, cannot be able to erode the sea. Okay? Now, in a paragraph of approximately 8 lines, explain the processes. So there are more processes that a river undergoes to become graded. So your river wants to move from being an ungraded river profile. For example, the one that we're having right now, it is ungraded river profile. Now, what processes are associated with that transition from being ungraded to being a graded river profile? What
Erosion and
processes?
deposition, sir.
You cannot just say erosion and deposition for 8 marks. Erosion and deposition, four points for 2 marks each. One by one, state one by one.
vertical.
Vertical.
Can I try?
Yes.
Vertical erosion in the upper course.
Yes, vertical erosion at the upper course. What does it do?
It makes it deeper. It makes the valley deeper.
Yes, it results in a steeper gradient. Okay.
Oh.
Steeper gradient, because remember here we are whatever answer that we are giving here, we want to try and explain how do we end up having a graded river profile. Simply meaning that how do we end up having a steep gradient at the upper course, a gradual gradient at the middle course, and a gentle gradient at the lower course? How do we end up having all of those three all together? So you just need to explain something that has to do with what? With a steeper gradient on top, a gradual gradient in the middle, and then a gentle gradient at the lower course. And then after that, you can explain furthermore how do we actually get rid of this temporary base level, such as the lakes. How do we get rid of them? Okay, all of that. So vertical erosion is one of the processes that happens at the upper course. Downward erosion. Okay, so you can say vertical erosion, whereby the water is digging deep into the valleys. So the valleys are going to be deep and steep. Deep and steep. They're going to be V-shaped. So vertical erosion, it does cause a steeper gradient. What other process happens?
Lateral erosion at the middle course.
But before we get to the lateral erosion, how do we even get to the lateral erosion? Remember, we move step by step. We talked about vertical erosion at the upper course.
Headward erosion removes temporary base level of erosion in the upper course.
What removes what removes the temporary base level?
Headward erosion.
Yes,
removes temporary base levels of
yes. At the upper course. At the upper course, we don't only have vertical erosion, we also have headward erosion. That's one of the processes happening. That's one of the fluvial processes. So headward erosion at the upper course. We are still at the upper course. So headward erosion at the upper course. Headward erosion at the upper course. What does it do? Remember, this is too much. You must give full explanation. Removes, or you can say it erodes temporary base level of erosion. It removes temporary base level of erosion. That's one other point as well. Because remember, guys, that headward erosion, I made an example using the waterfall and the neck point there to say that the more water is falling, the softer rock is being eroded and eroded and eroded. Okay. So there's when the softer rock is being eroded, the hard rock will be left unsupported, and then it will break apart. Now your waterfall will keep on moving and moving upstream until it eventually fades away. So it is being removed. So basically, things such as lakes and rapids or any other temporary base level that you can be able to see along the course of the river, it can be removed if the river has got enough erosive power to be able to do that. What other process happen?
Downward erosion removes temporary base levels in the upper course.
Yes, downward erosion also removes. You don't have to write all the points, yes, but downward erosion can also be able to remove. You can say downward erosion, or you can say a vertical erosion can also be able to remove the temporary base level of erosion. The temporary base level of erosion, such as waterfalls. All of this can still be removed by downward erosion or by the vertical erosion. So we're done talking about the upper course. Now we can continue branching. There are many things that you can say here, guys, but you only need 4 points for 2 marks each. So to stay safe, just give more points than needed. But as long as you write a paragraph of 8 lines, you'll be fine. What other event can happen for a river to end up becoming a smooth concave? What other process did we talk that a river undergoes? What other fluvial process or flowing process does a river undergo so that it ends up becoming graded?
Lateral erosions occurs. So I don't know. It's the wording. There's an increase in water.
Is an increase. We use the term discharge. Okay, so a river discharge.
Yes. Yes.
So the river discharge.
So can I ask?
Yes.
For river discharge, can you say stream flow?
Well, stream flow is more like how the water is flowing per se. Yeah, but still it can still work. But better to say river discharge, because river discharge it can be used to describe whether there is turbulence or laminar flow. And it can also be used to describe the volume of water in simple terms, because they were saying that the river discharge is increasing. We are referring to the volume of water. But if you just say stream flow, it kind of gives an idea that you are just focused on how the water is flowing, whether it's flowing in a laminar flow or it's turbulent, okay? So safer to talk about the volume of water, or you can say the river discharge.
Gradient in the middle course becomes less steep.
Yes, the gradient in the middle course becomes less steep. But before we get there, what actually causes it to be like that? Remember, the river discharge is increasing. We are now having more water inside the river. When we're having more water inside the river, what is that water more likely to do?
It transports materials downstream.
Yes, that's one of the processes that can happen as well. The transportation of materials downstream, as well as lateral erosion, all of that. Okay, so all of those points, guys, they are valid, by the way. You're still going to get marks for them. So you can talk about the transportation of eroded materials. So there is transportation. So there's transportation of eroded material, or you can say of the load that's been eroded downstream. Okay, that's also one of the things that, and you can still continue talking about. There are many things, guys. Lateral erosion that happens there. We have a gentle gradient. We have a gentler gradient at the middle course compared to the to the upper course. We have got all of those things that I've mentioned. But at the end of the day, you can conclude and say, now, at the end of the day, the river will end up becoming graded. There's not really a need to conclude per se, but you need to know that at the end of the day, the river will be graded, meaning that the rate of erosion in that river is now equal to the rate of deposition in that river. There are many points that you can talk about here, guys. There are many points that you can talk about. You just need to you must remember 4 of them. You must remember 4 of them. Don't cram them, but remember 4 of them especially. And then you must know them, all of them, and understand them, but only remember 4.